Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us on this rather brisk spring day. I'd like to welcome you to our Sunday service for the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lower Bucks. And I am your lay leader this morning. My name is Gil, and we have a very special service for you this morning. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I'd like to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I hope your special day is filled with lots of love. So welcome. We know you come here for different reasons: to find community, to seek your spiritual and personal truths, to question, to nurture your heart and soul, to be nurtured, to explore new ideas, to find comfort, and perhaps to find the answers to some of your bigger questions. We welcome you to our Zoom cyberspace. We know you come from different places, religions, beliefs, backgrounds, but here at UUFLB, we hope you find comfort, connection, challenge, inspiration, and love. We're so glad you joined us this morning, and we hope you'll stay for a few minutes after our service for fellowship and conversation. Our monthly Touchstone theme for this month of May is courage. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. said, "Courage is the power of the mind to overcome fear." Courage is essential to wield power non-violently in opposition to all that diminishes or negates life. And courage makes repair of the world possible. Courage is doing the right thing, even in the face of those who tell us we're crazy. It's taking a stand and living with it. It's also about growth, about a willingness to change one's mind if or when that is the right thing to do. A brave person may fight when called upon, but a courageous person may choose not to fight, even if it means certain death. A spiritual value, courage is something to hope for and pray for, as it is necessary for a meaningful life. Our talk today is from the Rabbi Eric Wisnia, and he is no stranger to our congregation. We welcome him back. He's the father of musician Avi and the son of cantor David Wisnia, who spoke to us a number of years ago about his time in Auschwitz. And Eric was born in Brooklyn and raised in Levittown. He graduated with a BA in Religious Thought from the University of Pennsylvania and was ordained at the Hebrew Union College in Cincinnati. And he also served as assistant rabbi at a Toledo, Ohio congregation. Rabbi Eric has served on the Institutional Review Board for Medical Ethics of the Medical Center at Princeton, and he was chairman of the board of directors of the Family Service Agency of Princeton in the 1990s. He serves on the board of the National Brain Tumor Association and is past president of the New Jersey Association of Reform Rabbis and past chairman of the Committee on Religious Ministries of Princeton Hospital. But wait, there's more. He's a busy man. Rabbi Eric also served as the president of the Shore Area Board of Rabbis in the 1980s and served as the president of the Hightstown Area Ministerium for a term of 5 years. He also serves the Jewish Committee on Scouting for the Central New Jersey Council Boy Scouts of America. He was awarded the Doctor of Divinity degree from Hebrew Union College Jewish Institute of Religion in March of 1999. Rabbi Wisnia has served Congregation Beth Chaim since June of 1977. And in April of 1992, he was unanimously voted a continuing contract by the membership of the congregation. The title of his talk today is Courage of My Parents. Rabbi Eric and our musician extraordinaire, Avi, just returned from a week at the Toronto Documentary Film Festival. At the festival, they debuted the documentary How Saba Kept Singing, starring the rabbi's father David and his son, our own Avi. David Wisnia, Avi calls him Saba, Hebrew for grandfather, courageously survived 2.5 years in the Auschwitz concentration camp during World War II. Now, let us enter into worship together. For our musical prelude this morning, Avi has chosen one of our favorite hymns.
Good morning. We're going to start today with a hymn from our hymn book, number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And even as we stay muted on Zoom, feel free to sing along with me. Normally this song can be sung in a round, so if you'd like to try and experiment at singing with different times or different harmonies, don't worry about distracting anybody else, because you're still muted. So feel free to sing along however you'd like to make music with me this morning. I hope that you will. Come, come, whoever you are. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come, yet again come, yet again come, yet again come.
Thank you, Avi. Please feel free to join me as I read our Lighting the Chalice words. May this flame, a symbol of transformation, fire our curiosity, strengthen our wills, and sustain our courage as we seek what is good within and around us. Our opening words this morning are from the Reverend Gary Kowalski. We gather here to worship, to seek the truth, to grow in love, to join in service, to celebrate life's beauty and find healing for its pain, to honor our kinship with each other and with the earth, to create a more compassionate world, beginning with ourselves, to wonder at the mystery that gave us birth, to find courage for the journey's end, and to listen for the wisdom that guides us in the quietness of this moment. Now we have our message for all ages.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Beck Stow, and our message for all ages today is Welcoming Elijah, a Passover Tale with a Tale by Leslie and Newman, illustrated by Susan Gall. Inside there was light. Outside there was darkness. Inside it was warm. Outside it was windy. Inside there was laughter. Outside there was silence. Inside, a boy hugged his family. Outside, a kitten sat alone. Inside, the boy waited for the Seder to start. Outside, the kitten waited for the moon to rise. Tonight would be different from all other nights. The boy knew this. The kitten did too. The Seder had many parts to it. The boy filled the prophet Elijah's cup and then sat down to wait for the part he loved best of all. Inside, candles glowed. Outside, stars twinkled. Inside, the boy drank grape juice. Outside, the kitten lapped at a puddle. Inside, the boy washed his hands. Outside, the kitten cleaned its paws. Still, the boy waited. Still, the kitten waited. Inside, the boy dipped parsley into salt water. Outside, the kitten chewed a wet blade of grass. Inside, the boy broke the middle matzah in half. Outside, the kitten split a twig in two. Inside, the boy heard the tale of the Israelites leaving Egypt. Outside, the kitten heard leaves whispering in the trees. Still, the boy waited. Still, the kitten waited. Inside, the boy ate the festive Passover meal. Outside, the kitten ate nothing at all. Inside, the boy patted his full belly. Outside, the kitten swished its skinny tail. Inside, the boy sang songs of praise. Outside, the kitten mewed. Still, the boy waited. Still, the kitten waited. At last, one of the grown-ups said, "Let us now open the door to welcome the prophet Elijah, who will one day bring peace to the world." Inside, the boy sprang up from his seat. Outside, the kitten scampered up the walk. A square of lamplight spilled onto the porch. A beam of moonlight shone into the hall. Inside, the boy looked outside. Outside, the kitten looked inside. Elijah? Meow. And that's how Elijah found a home.
Thank you, Bex. Makes me miss our UUFLB Seder meals. Hopefully, we can have one next year. For our musical interlude, Avi has something very special for us.
As we meditate on this month's theme of courage, you're going to hear from our speaker this week about somebody very near and dear to my life, my grandfather. And you're going to be hearing from it from my father, Rabbi Eric Wisnia, who is this week's speaker. We just got back from a trip to Canada together as a family to watch my grandfather's story of survival premiere on a big screen with a documentary about my grandfather's life. Some of you had the pleasure of meeting my grandfather when he came to speak a few years ago to UUFLB, and we performed music together, because part of my grandfather's story of survival was that he was a singer, and he was able to sing to save his life. Music saved my grandfather's life. And my grandfather is one of the most courageous people I know, not just because he was able to survive the horrors of the Holocaust, but because he had the courage to keep on going after a lot of loss and devastation and horror and torture, and still find the courage to keep on living, to find the joy in life. And part of that was through music. So I'm going to play today a song that he wrote while a prisoner in the concentration camp of Auschwitz during the Holocaust. And after he got out of the camp and we started making music together later on, I translated this song, originally written in Polish by my grandfather, into English so that it could be heard by audiences everywhere around the world. And in this way, even though my grandfather is no longer with us, his voice and his song and his courage lives on. This is called Oswiecim in Polish, which stands for the German word Auschwitz. I remember it so clearly, my days in Oswiecim. Got out alive just nearly, and still the name it stings. Still I see that place, enduring like the scars I can't erase. Appel, Abstand, mitten up, hear the sergeant's call. You'll wish you were just never born at all. Oswiecim, through pain and sickness, always working. Oswiecim, with death behind you, always looking. Oswiecim, Oswiecim, evil like some twisted dream. Never mind the hope of fleeing. Hunger is the only feeling. Oswiecim, like numbers on my arm, it lingers. Oswiecim, I curse you with my broken fingers. Oswiecim, Oswiecim, heart be hard as stone. Hatred is the greenest weed you've grown. Oswiecim, through pain and sickness, always working. Oswiecim, with death behind you, always looking. Oswiecim, Oswiecim, evil like some twisted dream. Never mind the hope of fleeing. Hunger is the only feeling. Oswiecim, like numbers on my arm, it lingers. Oswiecim, I curse you with my broken fingers. Oswiecim, Oswiecim, heart be hard as stone. Hatred is the greenest weed you've grown.
Thank you, Avi. That was so powerful. What an amazing story. It's time for our offertory this morning. More than 5.5 million people, just an unimaginable number, have now fled the violence in the Ukraine. And the majority of these refugees are women and children. Save the Children is concerned for these children caught in the middle of armed conflict, forced from their homes in freezing temperatures, and exposed to injury, hunger, and cold. Our donations to Save the Children's Ukraine Crisis Relief Fund will provide immediate aid for these people. Please be part of this effort by contributing as generously as possible to help this important humanitarian effort and protect these children in crisis. As always, you can use our website or our e-newsletter to make a donation. Rabbi Eric will now share his message with us, Courage of My Parents.
He's not there.
Rabbi Eric.
Good morning. Can you all hear me? Very nice, very nice. My name is Rabbi Eric Wisnia, and I am the meat in the sandwich. I'm not the important one, but I get to talk, which is nice. So I always have to begin with some degree of humor. So I'd like to start with one of my latest jokes. It is, of course, that tragedy did befall me. I was recently captured by mimes. They did unspeakable things to me. I went to report it to the police, and the police said, "Oh, that mime gang again. They hit us too. They destroyed the police station and particularly went into our bathrooms and destroyed all the toilets." I said, "Well, did you find them?" And the police said, "Well, no, we have nothing to go on." Moving right along. I'm going to talk to you about courage today, even though it is Mother's Day, and it does take courage to be a mother. And I'd like to shout out to all the mothers for the wonderful job they've done raising us and making us the people that we are, or trying to make us better people than we are. I'd like to speak a little bit about my father, because I went with Avi and my family up to the Toronto Film Festival to debut the documentary How Saba Kept Singing. And when I think of the theme of my father's life, it is a sense of courage, of surviving almost unspeakable horribleness. My father was born in Poland, in Warsaw, into a happy life. And World War II began on his 13th birthday, August 31st, September 1st, 1939. His entire family was wiped out. His entire world was wiped out. He spent 2.5 years in the hell of the concentration camp Auschwitz-Birkenau. The only reason he survived is that he had courage. He continued to sing and managed to parlay that into survival for 2.5 years. The Nazi guards would throw him extra scraps of food. And whenever they would randomly shoot somebody, they would always tell each other, "Oh, don't shoot him. He sings for us." And then they would have him sing at night in the Nazi officers' club. And so my father survived 2.5 years as a prisoner in Auschwitz, prisoner number 83526. The number was tattooed on the inside of his left arm. He survived, and I asked him, I said, "Dad, how did you do that?" He said, "Because I realized that they were not going to win. I was not going to let them win. I was going to survive." He said, one of the first days in Auschwitz, as he was being beaten by a Nazi officer, an SS man, he noticed the belt buckle right about his eye level as he was down being beaten. And on the belt buckle, it said, "Gott mit uns," God's on our side. And he looked at that and he said, "I don't believe that." No, he didn't say that, he thought that. "I don't believe that. That's not God. God's not with you. No." And he refused to give in. He had the courage to survive because he knew that he would survive and make a better world. And I asked him, "Oh, aren't you bitter? Aren't you hostile? Aren't you angry? Don't you want revenge?" And he said, he tries not to think of it that way. He tries not to say that he's going to kill as many of them as they killed of us. He tries not to say, "Hey, I'm going to be as nasty to them as they were to me." I remember once talking to one of my friends, Rabbi Henry Karp, a great rabbi in Des Moines, Iowa. And Henry said to me once about something bad that happened. He said, "Don't get mad, Eric, get even." And I laughed. And I knew what he meant. He meant, get even, do to the bastards what they did to you. Do it back to them. And I said to him, "Henry, I know what you mean by get even, but that's not what I'm going to do." Because I learned from my family what get even really means. When bad things happen, don't be bad back, be good. Bring the balance back up. Don't have more evil to make it go higher. Bring the good back up. Getting even doesn't mean being as bad to people as they sometimes are to you. Getting even really means bringing the level of good back up in the world. My father did not curse the Nazis. Used to like to watch World War II movies and see the Nazis get beaten. He served time with the American Army, helping them win the war towards the end. But my father did not hate his enemies. My father instead decided he would be good to other people. He would bring the level of goodness back up. And that's something that my mother, it is Mother's Day, and I have to talk about my wonderful mother who has passed away as well. She also believed that. She didn't teach me revenge and she didn't teach me hatred. She believed bring the level of good back up. When bad things happen, and they do happen to good people, it doesn't mean that we repay evil with evil. It means we get even, we bring goodness back in the world. For goodness depends upon the acts of you and I. We always have a choice. We can always repay evil and anger with a hard fist or with an open hand of love. Now, I'm not telling you always have to turn the other cheek. I'm not that good, folks. But I will tell you that if you live with evil in your heart, and if you look for ways to get even and pay back evil with evil, you have a hard heart and you become a shriveled up person. If you live with trying to do good and trying to make the world better, and when you see evil and sadness, to try and make it better, it brings hope into your life and other people's lives. And that makes the world much better. My mother and my father taught me that. They had great courage. It is Mother's Day. We should take a moment and appreciate all the wonderful mothers in our lives, our mothers, our grandmothers, our stepmothers, our mothers-in-law, all the people who are of the female persuasion in our lives. It's their day. Let us be good to them. Let us appreciate them. We men will get ours on Father's Day, but I don't know if we deserve it as much. That's another argument and sermon for Father's Day. We'll let that one happen. But I wish you all a happy Mother's Day, a sweet Mother's Day, a day filled with love and with understanding. And when bad things happen in your life, and they will, no one escapes sorrow and pain. We always have the choice of how to repay that. And I think it took great courage from my father, a survivor of the Holocaust, not to be bitter and evil, but to pay back all the deeds of that had happened to him with love and with caring and to make a better world. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, Rabbi Eric. That was so right on. Amazing story. I think it's more amazing that he survived spiritually than he survived physically. It's just inspiring. What can I say? Now is the time in our service when we recognize and lift up one another in love. Let us be fully present and listen with open hearts. If you wish to share a joy or a sorrow now, please click on your Zoom reactions and then click raise hand, and that will enable us to find you and help you unmute. For everyone's benefit, please be brief.
Bill and Mary Jane. Bill and Mary Jane.
Bill and Mary Jane. There they are. You should be able to unmute.
They did.
Yeah, I have a joy, and it didn't start out that way. About 3 months ago in February, I drove to the poker game. And when I got there, I was so ill I couldn't get out of the car. So the poker players came out and carried me in. And it didn't turn out well, and I was ill for several months. Friday night, I wanted to go so badly to play poker again. And I couldn't because it was raining, and I don't drive at night in the rain. So because of Gil and John Rodia, John picked me up, drove me there, and after they took all my money, Gil, I was a winner by just being there. I was so happy just to be back. And Gil brought me home. And I just want to let everybody know the help that I got. I appreciate it so much. So thanks, guys.
Well, it's really great to have you back in the saddle, and it certainly wouldn't be poker night without you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rabbi Eric.
Rabbi Eric, have your hand up.
Oh, unmute.
It's me. Hi, Rich Kelly. I just wanted to let you guys know that my son and daughter were together 2 nights ago and ended up in an accident. It totaled the car. I think she's fine. I think she hasn't said that she's bad, but my son got seriously shaken up, but no broken bones or anything. So we'll see how it comes out. So please send out your prayers. Well, thank you.
We will certainly do that, Rich.
Well, I have something. I obviously, I wish every mother out there a wonderful day today. Of course, it makes me think of my mother. I think of my mother almost every day anyway. Yesterday would have been her 88th birthday. So it always is a little bit of a sad time for me around Mother's Day to remember her. She passed away 22 years ago at the young age of 66.
Thank you, Sherry.
Anyone else? No.
Well, I don't see anyone. We can always talk more after the service. So whether or not you shared today, for your joys, we in this community join you in celebration. And for any sorrows or concerns, may you feel our sympathy and our compassion. Let's pause for just a moment of gratitude, silent meditation, and prayer. For our closing song, Avi is going to share another song that is near and dear to his heart.
For our closing song today, I'd like to leave you with something special. A song that my grandfather taught to me. It's called Mamala, which is a term of endearment for mama, mother, Mamala. This song was written by Mitchell Parrish, who was a famous songwriter in the Tin Pan Alley era, with help on the words and music by Alex Allstone and Al Goodhart. And it's in honor of Mother's Day, in honor of all those people who raise us and guide us and nurture us and love us, in honor of all those who struggle so much to give their children a better life. And that's what this song is about. In honor of mothers, here is Mamala. Mother dear, I'll always call you Mamala. tired eyes, wrinkled hands, and a loving heart that always understands. I remember how you used to comfort me, a little boy of 3 in bygone years. I remember how you sat me on your knee. With a kiss you would dry my tears. Marmalade, heart of gold. Day by day I hate to see you growing old. Marmalade, marmalade. May God bless you, dear marmalade. Marmalade, mother dear, I'll always call you marmalade. Tired eyes, wrinkled hands, and a loving heart that always understands. I remember how you used to comfort me, a little boy of 3 in bygone years. I remember how you sat me on your knee. With a kiss you would dry my tears. Silver hair, heart of gold. Day by day I love to see you growing old. Marmalade, marmalade. May God bless you, dear. My marmalade.
Thank you, Avi. Well done. Please feel free to join me as I read our closing words and my lovely assistant extinguishes the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Our service is concluded, but please stick around for our very informal coffee hour. You should be able to unmute yourself now and use the chat function.